Good morning, students. How are you? I think you must have been fine today. I am Dhananjay Singh, and today I have selected a very relevant issue of debate with you, and that is certainly how to get good marks in history optional in the upcoming 67th BPSC Men's Examination. This topic seems to be relevant because without knowing the mystery of this method, how to get good marks, I think you are not in a position to ensure your success. So let us discuss the very methods which help us to secure good marks in any examination in which you are going to appear. I have deeply experienced since my academic days that to get good marks itself is an art, but this art is based on certain basic elements. And today, my whole objective is to throw light on all those basic elements which become instrumental to get good marks. And let us see all those basic elements. See, the first method is how to study. This is the first fundamental method of getting good marks. Second is understanding the nature of questions of history. These are the two methods which help you to get maximum marks as you expected. Let us see first how to study. Okay. To study is a systematic and scientific approach. How you are studying, that is very important for your examination, because I think that your studies should be scientific and systematic, and for this you are supposed to first know your syllabus. Okay. When we talk about syllabus, it means you should develop a holistic view of the whole syllabus. Holistic view of the whole syllabus given by BPSC examination. And secondly, you are supposed to be selective on some important topics of history optional. It could be ancient, it could be medieval, it could be modern or world. Because I have seen that most of the questions asked by BPSC are based on certain specific topics. So first of all, you are supposed to go through the whole syllabus, and in the second stage you are supposed to be selective on some particular topics on the basis of the nature of questions given by you, BPSC. Okay. Secondly, second thing is how to study all those topics. Let us take one example. How to study any topics of history optional. Let us take one example. Suppose you are going through the expansion of British Empire. In Bengal. Suppose this is your topic. And now, how you are going to approach this topic? First of all, you are supposed to classify the whole topics into various small units. For example, number one, the objective of British Company in Bengal. This would be your first unit of this topic. Then after, the method of British Company I mean the working method of British Company. Then third, condition of Bengal. Like political condition, like economic condition, like social condition, and like cultural condition. Then after, you have to explain development of events leading to the Battle of Plassey. The Battle of Plassey. And then after, you have to also explain the impact of Plassey. I mean the Battle of Plassey. Again, you could classify the impacts into various parts, like political, like social, like economic, and like cultural. This is known as a systematic and scientific method of study. Once you study all topics in this manner, then I am sure that you could be able to answer any question, because in this diagram we have explained all relevant points regarding the Battle of Plassey. So this is the way of study of any topics of modern India or any parts of the your history optional. Okay. Now, let us take the second issue, and that is the nature of question. My dear, you have to understand one thing, that in every question there are certain messages and that are hidden in that questions, and you have to unfold that message of that questions so that you could write that question in a very good way. For example, first of all, you have to understand the demands of the question. Demands of the question. Okay. Then after, you have to select the relevant facts regarding that questions. Then after, number 3, you have to select the basic concept that is involved in that question. Number 4, you have to develop the story by linking the facts and the concept to make a body of that question. Then after, number 5, you have to make analysis of the given facts and concept. It is true or not true. Analysis. And then number 6, you should make comparison. Okay. Comparison. Like, you may compare between Ashok and Akbar because both emperors seems to be similar in nature. Number 7, you should make effort to use diagram. Diagram whenever it is possible. Maps whenever it is possible. Okay. So these are the basic elements to write an effective answer of any question. And then only you could expect to get good marks in your examination. Let us take an example to make it clear that how you should write any question. Suppose question is, Dupleix and Clive were ambitious to create an empire in India. In India, Dupleix made effort to search the key of India. In south, but he failed. Clive made this effort in Bengal, and he got it. This is a question, and you have to write this question in 150 words. Now let us see how you can write this question. Dupleix and Clive. Dupleix was the French governor and Clive was a British military officer. British military officer. And both were ambitious to create some space in India for their own country. But Dupleix, though he was genius, but he failed to create this space in India because he made this effort in South India. On the other hand, Lord Clive was inborn military genius, and so he made this effort in Bengal and he got it. Let us write this question. First of all, you have to give a brief introduction of both Clive and Dupleix. I said a brief introduction of both. Means who they were and what was their ambition, and what was their ambition. Number one. Then after, you have to explain the political plus economic plus social scenario of South and Bengal. For example, see, this is Bengal. Okay. And this is the area of Marathas. This is the area of Mysore. This area belongs to Nizam. And this area is known as Karnataka. So, you can experience that the political scenario of South India was more complex than that of Bengal. In Bengal, there was a Nawab known as Sirajuddaula, and he was weak. At the same time, he was not given cooperation by his nobles. His nobles were making effort to create conspiracy against their own Nawab. On the other hand, in South India, there were various formidable powers like Marathas, like Mysore, like Nizam, and like Karnataka. It means the British company or Dupleix was to face many challenges in South India. They were to fight with many forces, and that was not possible in Bengal, because in Bengal they were to fight against a single Nawab who was weak. So you can see one thing, that the political condition of Bengal seems to be more conducive for the manifestation of imperial ambition of Lord Clive than South India. And that's why Clive focused his whole attention to get Bengal first. He did not make any effort in South India. His whole attention was centralized to get Bengal at any cost. Number 2, economic condition of Bengal and South. Let us see. Bengal was a fertile province of Mughal Empire, and that's why this region was extremely beneficial for British company, because British company could have got revenue from Bengal. Later on, you can see that Bengal got permanent settlement during the time of Lord Cornwallis. In this revenue system, company got around 89% of revenue, collected by zamindars from the peasants. So the first benefit was in terms of getting revenue. Number 2, Bengal was also a rich region of raw materials like cotton, like silk, like sugar, like food grains, like opium, etc. So British company could have got all those raw materials in course of time, and that's why these raw materials also attracted the attention of Lord Clive, and these benefits was not possible in South India. Next, number 3, trade. Shashi Tharoor has written in his book that in the whole Asian trade of British company, the share of Bengal was around 60%. In the whole Asian trade of British company, Bengal's share was 60%. So you may see that Bengal was also beneficial for their trade and commerce. Number 4, Bengal was situated near the ocean, Bay of Bengal, and that's why it was also beneficial for navigation of British military powers, British Navy. At the same time, it was also beneficial for the international trade of British company, because it was a better source of navigation. So So you have seen that in terms of economic benefits, Bengal was much better than any parts of the country, and that's why Lord Clive focused his whole attention to get Bengal first. Next. The social plus cultural condition of Bengal plus South. In 18th century, Indian society was based on caste system, Varna system. So, this society was not progressive. Okay. Number two, the method of education was also not scientific. It was not scientific. It was not rational, because in this society there was lack of scientific education. So this society was also not so sound to understand what is going on in Bengal. Then after, the cultural condition of Bengal. In those times, there was lack of the idea of nationalism in Indian society, and that is why British company easily conquered Bengal without facing any challenges from Indian society. For example, you can see one thing, that in the Battle of Plassey, it was nobles of Bengal who became a party of British company against their own Nawab. So it was a clear message before British company that Indian people were not having the sense of nationalism. And that's why British company not only got control over Bengal, but in course of time, it also conquered a major part of India and became a master of India. So in this question, you were supposed to explain all these basic things, and finally you have to give a brief conclusion. Okay. So this is the method of writing any question. Okay. And by writing like this, you can easily obtain good marks in your examination. Now, let us see the third basic elements, that is writing practice. My dear, always remember that your whole preparation is meaningless without making regular practice. This is a basic mantra of success in any examination. And so I should tell you one thing, that first you have to learn how to study. Second, you have to learn how to write answer. And third, whatever you study, try to translate your study into practice by making regular practice of the question of the previous years. Okay. Let us take the second example. Okay. Suppose I said, the socio-religious movement of 19th century in India. Suppose you have to study this topic. Again, you have to classify this topic into various small units. Like number 1, its time first. Number 2, its place. Number 2. Number 3, its objective. Number 4, its means of inspiration. Then after, its causes. Then after, the main problems, that is social problems, that is religious problems. Then after, the key players of this reform movement, like Indian people. Second, British government. Number 3, Christian missionaries. And then its basic features. Then its comparison with the Western Renaissance. Then after, its limitations, and finally its significance. Its significance. So, you could see one thing, that I have classified this topic into various small units, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And then begin a study of all these basic elements. Okay. So, let us take how to study these topics. I said you earlier, first of all, you have to classify this topic into various small units, and then you have to focus your meticulous attention on all the basic elements explained by me. You can see that I have classified this topic into 8 parts. Okay. And now begin one by one. Okay. Once you study like this, then I am sure that you are supposed to write any question based on this topic, because I did not leave a single unit of these topics. I have covered almost all parts of these topics. Okay. So, what I mean to say, before studying any topic, first make effort to classify and then study like this. Okay. Okay, let us end this session, because my whole objective was to give you the mystery, give you the some view how to study, how to get good marks, and so you are supposed to follow all these basic rules, okay, in your examination. In next interaction, we are going to discuss some other topics. Okay, thank you.